Caitlin, how do I break into IT? How do I get into security? What is your advice? Where do I start? I'm at this entirely different industry, but I want to work in IT. I'm good with computers, but I don't have any experience. How do I do it? Over the last year, my messages and emails have all changed kind of drastically, especially after putting up my Security Plus video. So the number one thing that I get asked in emails or DMs or wherever else is advice. Advice on how to get into IT or security. And in this video, I want to cover some things because one thing I've learned from YouTube is that if one or two people have the question, that means there are other people out there with the question as well that either just not willing to ask, afraid to ask, don't think they can ask, don't think I'd respond. Who knows the reasons, but I wanted to just put this video out there because maybe it'll help some people. However, one disclaimer in that I'm not an expert. I don't know all the answers. I know that I have very limited experience and very limited information to go on. However, I know that it's also sometimes hard to find people to ask and share their experiences with. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm going to share my experience, share my advice. I don't want you to take it as this is what you should do. These are all the answers. You know, what I'm saying is the only way. No, I want you to do your own research, ask other people, you know, I don't, there are other ways to find out more information. I'm just giving you one side of the story and just the advice that I give other people. I'm sure there will be people in the comments that have way more experience, way more years of service, way more certifications, all of the above, way more employers, more employees, however you want to label it. I know that there are way more people, way more expert people, and I'm definitely not calling myself an expert. I just get asked this question a lot, and I want to put my answers out there that will maybe help other people. If I don't answer your question, or one of the things I see a lot is people say, I'm stuck. Can you help me? It just breaks my heart because being stuck is one of the worst feelings, and I know exactly how you feel. So if you feel that way, or like I said, if I didn't answer any of your direct questions, then do message me. I know I'm a small channel so that I can answer people because I don't get a ton of messages. So hopefully it stays that way so that I can answer your questions. I used to be really bad about email, a little bit better about Instagram DMs, but now that I have a lot more time, I'm not working, so I've been a lot better about answering my emails, answering my direct messages on all the platforms. So if you have any questions and you feel that I didn't answer them in this video, then don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here for you. I want you to succeed. This isn't like a ploy for anything extra. I don't know, I just want to be here for you guys. So I feel you. The one thing I do ask though is that you watch this video, because if you email me and ask me the same questions that I went over in this video, I'm just not going to respond, okay? I think that's pretty fair because I did my best to answer emails and messages after putting up my Security Plus video, but I got a lot of messages from people asking me things like, what book do you recommend? I put it in the video. You clearly didn't watch the video. Okay, so don't do that. It's just, it's very frustrating when you're a creator and you put something out there and people don't watch it and then just come to you directly for the answers. Put a little effort in, okay? Watch the video. So before we jump in, just to reiterate what I said, I am not an expert. These are just my experiences. You can disagree with the things I say, but you can't really disagree with my experiences. And message me if you need anything else after you watch the video. So back to the original question. Caitlin, how do I break into IT? How do I get into security? What is your advice? Where do I start? I'm at this entirely different industry, but I want to work in IT. I'm good with computers, but I don't have any experience. How do I do it? We've all been there. We've all started at a point where we didn't have the experience, and we've gotten the experience at some point. So it's just about taking that first leap. How do we take that first leap from going from no experience to the job that we want? And that is the most difficult part. And if you can figure that out, you're pretty much golden, because once you get that first job on your resume, I mean, that's really what you need. You just need that one job. So how do you get that one job? What do? There are a lot of ways. So briefly, my experience, how I did it, I just have been building computers forever. I always had experience building gaming machines and knew the technologies and the computer hardware and components. So I actually went from tech support, working at Geek Squad. I did a whole video on how I got into IT. I'm not gonna go into all of that, but Geek Squad, and then I did Apple support over the phone. So that's why I still have a lot of Apple computers because they're still good computers. Can't lie. And then into corporate IT. So how did I make that jump from tech support to corporate IT? And that is where you need, one, a little luck, and two, something that they can use. So you have to think to yourself, what do I have that a future employer can use so that they will then in turn train me all the technical stuff that I don't know? Let me tell you a little secret. Employers can train you the technical stuff, and a lot of times they will have their own training programs because they have a specific way of doing things and they want you to do the things that they're hiring you for in the way that they want them done. So a lot of times they'll have their own training programs. You'll work with like a mentor, and they will teach you the ways of the employer. And if not, then those are probably going to be more higher level jobs where you will need experience. So we're talking only entry level jobs at this point. If you've already worked in IT for a few years or have the experience, this video is probably not for you. This is for people that want to get into IT, that don't have the experience and want to make that first jump. So if you don't have the technical experience, one thing I will say, you're going to want to be a little computer savvy. You don't want to get into IT having never used Word or Outlook or an email program, or I usually say, build your own computer. If you can't do that, then a little bit of, technical prowess will help. You don't want to be completely technical illiterate, because then why are you trying to get into IT anyway? But if you have a little bit of technical background, put it on your resume. Like, for example, on my resume, I have, what I don't even know now, 16 years of computer building experience. That itself just says to future employers that I have hardware knowledge. I can build my own computer. A lot of people in IT cannot do that, especially when you get into more like the DevOps side. Programmers, they're not so hardware technical savvy, so you may have that advantage over them. If you don't have computer building experience, that's fine too. You can also use something like customer service. Let me tell you something huge. This is not a knock on technical people at all, but there are some people that are really good with computers that are not so good with people. And I hate to say that, but it's true. And when you're in IT, you're working with people. Your customer base is literally the people that you're servicing and you're helping. So if you don't want to be helping people, you probably don't want to be in IT in the first place. But the good news is that if, for example, you worked in retail in the past, or even like a McDonald's, you have customer service experience. Put that on your resume, because I'm telling you, if you're looking at entry-level positions, a lot of times you are going to be the one on the direct lines of facing the customer. And so any type of customer service experience, and if you're good with working with people, that is going to put you like way up there. So quantify that. The biggest thing about resumes is that you should be quantifying your experiences. So to quantify something like customer service, you can say you have 5 years of high-level customer service in a 500-person company, working with 2 other people, something of that sort, so that they get the sense of you served a lot of people, you did it for a long time, you may have been good at it. If you won any like customer service awards or anything, you can put those on there. I don't know, like the customer service employee of the year. I don't think that's a thing, but you know what I'm saying, like quantify it. Even if it's something simple like that, it helps. It really, really does. And when you're looking at entry-level positions, like I said, a lot of times they're going to be directly helping those customers. Be sure that you actually are good working with customers. You don't want to put that on there and then really just secretly hate people and hate working with them. That would not be a good look. You want to make sure you're like empathetic to the customer's concerns or, you know, the issues that they're having with their computers, because if your customers or your clients, if they can't do their job, they're going to be frustrated, and the more you can calm them down and successfully get them fixed up, the happier they're going to be. So that's really good customer service. Keep that in mind, that when I say if you have retail experience, don't just put that on there because I'm saying that. Make sure that you're actually good with the customers. You want to be someone that wants to help people, that you want to solve their problems and fix them up and get them back up and running and be excited with them and knowledgeable and all of that. You want to be that person. So far we've covered 2 things that are good to put on your resume that may help you get into an entry-level IT position. We covered customer service and any type of technical knowledge. A third thing that if you don't have either of these 2, you can start working on this third thing right now, and that's to start building a home lab. Now, home labs are a little bit more technical. You're going to have to do some research. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't message me about how to do a home lab. Maybe I'll do a video in the future, but it's a very extensive topic. You're going to have to do research, put a little effort in, and it could be very, very, very rewarding, because not only are you showing your future employer initiative that you took a huge step to learn something on your own outside of a workplace environment, but also that you can learn something on a higher level, and that's extremely important. Home labs are a great way to kind of dive into something that's hard. It's difficult to set up and learn, but it's very rewarding in that you're going to learn a ton. So employers love that because you're self-learning, which is a huge thing. A lot of people are not good at self-learning. If you're not good at self-learning, I suggest that you learn to self-learn, because in IT it's incredibly important. But self-learning is huge, so that's, you know, a box ticked for the employer, and that you can be self-taught. And so if you put that you built a home lab on your resume, that's huge. And a lot of times what will happen is that you may put it on your resume and then you get to a technical interview and they're going to ask you questions about that home lab. You don't want to just put like domain or networking experience from a home lab. You want to make sure that you do it, because they're going to ask you questions about it, and you don't want to get to a technical interview and try to bullshit your way through it, because they will see right through it right away, trust me. So don't do that. Be sure if you want to use this as a tool for your resume, you actually do it. You can do both a physical or virtual. Obviously virtual is going to be a little bit easier because you can get something free like VirtualBox and start building VMs in there and get pretty far into like an actual domain just using trial servers and a bunch of different services from Microsoft. So that's one direction. Or you can go the physical side if you have space and power, because both of those are important, and AC probably helpful. You can build a physical home lab and get like servers, like used servers from maybe Nextdoor or eBay, Craigslist, places like that. You can find some used servers and get set up that way. I've never actually built my own physical home lab, so not an expert at that either. I just know that these are great ways to learn. If you're looking at more of the DevOps side or the programming side, then another good way to build up your resume, if you have zero work experience, is to build your own website. A website is a great way to show your own code, plus also if you have like a blog, the fact that you are teaching other people or talking at a high level about the things that you know, those are both excellent. So a blog or a website that you've created yourself, like 100% yourself, that is awesome. Or a GitHub profile. So always think about like what projects that you're working on, of course, and you want to put them on GitHub. You want to make them public so that other key people can see them. So when an employer is like, oh, he says he has Python experience, let's look and see at his portfolio and actually see the work that he's done. So once again, make it 100% yours, and that can greatly help build your resume. Maybe one day I'll do a video on technical interviews, because honestly, you're probably not going to come across a technical interview at an entry-level position. They're more so like, you know, your level 2 or however it's called, like the next level. You'll go through a technical interview. Entry-level positions, most likely not, because they know that you don't have the experience. They're not going to put you through that torture. But maybe I'll do a video on technical interviews one day, because they're very interesting and they're actually a really good way to learn at what you should be working on. So something to always keep in mind. So when I say entry-level positions, you're probably wondering, what positions should I look for? And you can look on resources like Indeed, of course, that's a big one for looking at jobs, but I've always had greater success on going directly to companies' websites. So I'll look for companies that are in my area, and then I'll go to their job boards and I'll see if they have anything that matches my skills and that looks interesting. That's usually a better way to do it. Those Indeed posts, they get bombarded with resumes, and a lot of companies don't even post there. I don't know why. I don't know if they get spammed a lot or what, but a lot of times you'll just only see them on their own local websites, job postings. So that's something to think about as well, to broaden your search. And if you're trying to look for a job where you can work from home, there are a lot of companies out there. Like I had said, I worked for Apple and I worked from home, and that I just found by going to Apple's website and looking at their positions that they offer work from home. That's pretty much it. A lot of companies these days do. Not all of them, of course, but yeah, you're gonna have to do more research on that too. So entry-level jobs that you can look for if you don't have the work experience, help desk is number 1. Help desk is wonderful and a great way to get your foot in the door in a company that you're interested in. And because a lot of times if you're a really good help desk analyst, you can, work in that position maybe 6 months, a year, and then if you really make a name for yourself, you will likely have opportunities to progress very quickly. I see that all the time. People start in help desk, they're wonderful, and then higher up managers grab those people and say, nope, you're working for me now. So if you do want to get your foot in the door, look for those help desk positions. I know they're not everyone's favorite, but a lot of times you just have to do them for a short amount of time to prove yourself. And then, you'll be off to the races, is that what they say? So help desk is one. Like any type of analyst is usually like an entry-level position, so that's good, like an applications analyst. Or a technician. A lot of times you'll see like a hardware technician. So hardware technician is a really good one too to look for. Any of those 3 titles are generally going to be entry-level positions. I'm sure there are other ones as well. Those are the 3 that I can think of. There are also some other areas of IT to think about. Things like DBAs, so the database administrators, security, of course, hardware, networking. These are more like specific areas where you do need experience in at least the main thing. So like database administrators, they need to know SQL. So if you're thinking, oh, maybe I would like working with databases, learn SQL. That's a pretty easy one. If you want to work with hardware, if you really like hardware and that's the direction you want to go, then you're probably going to want to get your A+ certification. A+ kind of proves that you have a bit of hardware knowledge. Networking, you can get your Net+, which is another CompTIA certification similar to A+ or Security+. Net+ is just the networking side. So if you really like working with routers or switches, then I would recommend getting that one. That's a great one. It's a lot to learn, so it's up there with Security+, but it is a valuable one for entry-level positions. Honestly, the 3 CompTIA certifications are really the main ones that I would recommend for any entry-level jobs. Once you get into the higher level ones like CCNA for networking, or like OSCP for pen testing, things of that sort, those are much higher level, so don't worry about those. And if you're looking at security certifications, really Security+ is the main one that you should get. All like government jobs or government contractors are going to require Security+ to begin with. And any employer, if they see you have Security+ on your resume, that's awesome for them like immediately, because if they're ISO certified, or if they just keep track of certifications of their employers, then that's awesome for them. That just adds an extra one to the bunch. So Security Plus is never frowned upon, that's for sure. But if you are not looking to get into hardware, I would probably skip A+. Net Plus is still good, but a lot of times people will say get CCNA if you're gonna get Net Plus. A little bit more advanced, but specific to Cisco routers, and a lot of environments are Cisco, so it just helps. But the security certifications like CISSP or CISM, they all require like 5 years of security experience, so don't even think about them. Not important right now. The other thing that I see sometimes with certifications are people that don't have work experience but have a lot of certifications. I'm not a big fan of that either, and I think a lot of employers will say that too. The thing with having a lot of certifications without the experience, it kind of just shows that you're good at taking tests and answering multiple choice questions. A lot of times those questions themselves don't really have any relation to environments that you're going to work in. So what I like to advise is that if you have like a 1-to-1 ratio to certification to experience. So if you have, if you're like entry level, you know, you maybe get the entry level certifications. Try not to get like all 3 though, because then it just kind of looks like you went and got all 3 and you don't have much direction. Try to focus on 1, and then try to get experience based on that certification. Then maybe find your next direction, get the next certification that fits that role, and then get a new job based on that certification and that kind of thing. I think that looks way better on a resume than like seeing A+, Net Plus, Security Plus, CCNA, CEH all on your resume, but no work history. That just, it doesn't really translate if whether or not that person is going to be a good employee. So try to get 1-to-1 ratio on your work experience. And that's not like a golden rule, that's just advice from me. And I'm definitely not saying like that's necessary. It's just kind of what I see, and it seems like it would build a stronger resume. Also to note, if you're trying to get into networking, Network Chuck is a wonderful channel here on YouTube. I highly recommend him. I watch him all the time when I'm trying to learn networking stuff. So if you're trying to go the networking route, I do recommend Network Chuck. He also did a really great video on what CCNA is turning into, because I think it's in February 2020. It will be changing the testing. So if you're looking to get CCNA routing and switching, be sure to get it before February and watch his video. Don't ask me questions on that. I can't answer them all. Just watch his video. So if you're thinking maybe you want to work as a database administrator, learning SQL is a great thing to do. If you want to do networking, build a pfSense router. That's a great way to learn some things. Or start building a home lab, also a great way to learn some things. If you're brand new, trying to break into IT, try to think about, I know it's kind of hard without any experience, but try to think about which direction you want to go. Hardware, networking, programming, DevOps, security. There are a lot of different paths. Do some research. You know, if you want to do security, then do some CTFs or watch some videos on security. There's a lot out there, trust me, you just have to find it. Networking, watch Network Chuck, he's great. Build your own home lab, that's a good one. But if you have no idea, that is why I say look for those entry-level positions like help desk. Help desk will teach you a whole bunch of things and let you see the environment, meet different teams, work with different teams, you know, have the customers kind of lead you in the direction of the path that you should be going on. And if you're like me and decide halfway through that you don't want to be doing it, that's okay too. The other thing I get asked a lot is whether technical schools are worth it. Now this is a hard one to answer because I've never gone to a technical school. I'm not too familiar with them. I honestly am not that fond of them either, so I am sorry if you went to a technical school or are in one right now. I know they actually have helped a lot of people, but I also know that they sometimes teach things that you can learn on YouTube or with a book. So do a lot of research before you join a technical school. Sometimes what I see is you'll take like a year of classes and at the end you'll have your A+, Net Plus, Security Plus. I don't really recommend that unless you're a really, really bad self-learner and you have money to burn, then maybe go for it. But otherwise, those 3 certifications you can learn fairly quickly on your own. I know I'm saying that from a technical perspective, so maybe if you don't have any technical perspective, a school like that will be beneficial. But if you have some technical experience, you can just get the best rated book from Amazon and self-study. There are so many videos. Professor Messer has a ton of videos on all of those certifications, so he can definitely help you pass without having to pay a crazy tuition. So if you can, save the money and maybe skip technical school. I know there are some really good ones out there though, so that's why I say do your research, see which ones are good in your area or online, especially the ones that offer job placement. Those are really good, because if they offer job placement after graduation or guarantee job placement after graduation, then that's excellent, because that means that there are employers that trust the school and will take you on as maybe like an entry-level position or even higher after you graduate. So that can be really helpful as a jump start, or at least like a bypass of getting over that first initial hurdle. So in that sense, I can see them being a good thing. But like I said, do your research. Don't just throw your money at the first school that you see. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this video up now because it's probably long again. But to reiterate, I'm not an expert. These are just my experiences, things that I've learned along the way. And usually when I write to people, when they email me and they say, Caitlin, I'm stuck. I work in healthcare. I don't want to work in healthcare anymore. I want to get into IT. What do I do? So hopefully this video helped. And if not, if I didn't answer your question, then do email me, message me, whatever you want to do. Probably not best to leave it in the comments, but yeah. Hopefully I, can answer any other future questions. It may turn into a video, who knows? Take my suggestions however you would like. If anyone has any more suggestions, things I left out, things I don't know, maybe you have more experience than I do and you want to help people, then leave those in the comments below, because your advice, your experiences could be helping someone reading the comments as well. So let's help each other as a community to get into IT and higher paying jobs and, be successful at our lives. Successful and happy. Be successful and happy at our lives. Good luck and make those dollars. One last thing to note, now that I am a full-time creator, yay! I have started a Patreon page and the link is in the description below. If you like the content that I put on this channel, if I've helped you in any sort of way, and if you want to maybe give back, there are different tiers with rewards of things on my Patreon page, and there will be some exclusive content on there. So if you want to join or maybe just support for that, then go check out the page. And any help, I do appreciate it. And if not, absolutely no worries. There's no obligation or no ill will if you don't want to. This is just something extra for those that want to support me. And keep the videos coming. I hope this video was helpful. All of my social links are in the description box below. Twitter, Instagram, Goodreads, Twitch, Discord server, they're all in the description. So if you want to join the community on any of those places, then please do so. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. Liked it, give it a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.